In the bustling town of Crestwood, Aaron, a 17-year-old with wavy brown hair and a penchant for indie rock, was gearing up for a summer adventure. His parents had always been protective, especially after a minor mishap he had when he was younger. It wasn't anything serious, but it left a lasting impression on them. One morning, after weeks of persuasion and promises of being careful, Aaron's parents finally gave him permission to drive to a music festival in a neighboring town with his friends. He felt a rush of excitement and the weight of responsibility all at once. This was his chance to prove he could handle independence. Cindy, Aaron's next-door neighbor and a close friend since childhood, was a tad more cautious. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern as they packed the car. "I mean, it's a long drive and all." Aaron flashed her a confident smile. "We've got this. Plus, we've prepared, right? Checked the car and mapped the route. It'll be an adventure." The journey was filled with laughter, loud music, and the thrill of the open road. However, as night approached and they drove through unfamiliar winding paths, a dense fog began to settle. Aaron felt a twinge of anxiety. The road was harder to see, and the signs were no longer as clear. Cindy noticed his grip tighten on the steering wheel. Maybe we should pull over and wait for the fog to clear?" Aaron hesitated. The idea of admitting he wasn't sure didn't sit well with him. But he remembered his promise of being responsible. Taking a deep breath, he said, "You might be right. Better safe than sorry." They found a small diner by the roadside and decided to grab a bite. As they sipped on hot cocoa and chatted, Aaron realized something. Independence wasn't just about doing things on your own. It was also about making the right decisions, even if it meant admitting uncertainty. The fog eventually lifted, and the duo continued their trip, reaching the festival just in time to catch their favorite band's performance. The music was electric, but the real magic was in the moments and the lessons learned. That night, under the canopy of stars, Aaron and Cindy celebrated not just the music, but also the path to growing up and the wisdom in understanding one's limits. Once in a time, not too distant from our own, in a world where the stars whispered secrets of the universe, there lived a brilliant and tenacious astrophysicist named Dr. Eva Sterling. Her life's pursuit was to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos, specifically the existence of life beyond Earth. She spent countless nights at the observatory, her eyes glued to the vast expanse beyond, hoping for a sign, a signal, anything that would prove we were not alone. In a small, remote research facility nestled in the heart of the Sierra Nevada mountains, Eva and her small but dedicated team scanned the skies. One serene night, amidst a symphony of crickets and the rustle of the pine trees, their equipment picked up an anomaly, a signal of unknown origin, emanating from the direction of the star system Lyra. The signal was unlike any other, a complex, rhythmic series of beats and pauses. It wasn't just noise, it was a message. As Eva decoded it, she discovered it was a blueprint for an extraordinary machine, a vessel designed for a single passenger, intended to traverse the unimaginable distances of space. Despite skepticism and bureaucratic hurdles, Eva championed the construction of this celestial craft. Governments and private entities from around the globe contributed to the creation of this marvel, a testament to humanity's insatiable curiosity and unyielding spirit. Eva was chosen to be the first traveler, the pioneer to take the leap into the unknown. The night before her journey, she gazed at the stars, the twinkling beacons that had guided her path. She reflected on her life, her love for the stars, and the journey ahead. The launch was a spectacle watched by millions around the world. As the machine activated, it created a spectacle of light and sound, a portal to the unknown. Eva braced herself and stepped forward, into the heart of the machine, into the heart of the unknown. She traveled through a corridor of colors and lights, a journey beyond physical realms. When she emerged, she found herself not in another world, but in a realm of consciousness, an encounter with a cosmic entity. It spoke not in words, but in visions and emotions, revealing the interconnectedness of the universe and the insignificance yet preciousness of human life. Eva returned to Earth, her journey lasting mere seconds according to earthly clocks. But for her, it was a lifetime of experience. She tried to convey the profundity of her experience, but words fell short. The world was skeptical, some even disbelieving. But Eva knew the truth of her journey. She spent her remaining days gazing at the stars, content in the knowledge that there was more to our existence, more to the universe. Her story became a legend, a bedtime tale for those who dare to dream, to believe in the possibilities of the cosmos. And so, under the same starlit sky, we dream and wonder, just as Eva did, about the vast, beautiful mystery that is our universe. Her journey reminds us to always look up, to wonder, and to never stop seeking the answers hidden in the whispers of the stars. Lena was slightly annoyed when Mark, her husband, casually mentioned over dinner that his old college buddy Alex would be crashing at their city apartment for a couple of weeks. They'd had a busy winter, filled with social gatherings and a few too many weekends away in the city, indulging in what could only be described as tasteful hedonism. She had been looking forward to some downtime, just her and Mark, maybe binge-watching a series or planning their next vacation in peace. But now, Alex was coming. Alex was someone Mark always spoke highly of, a journalist with a knack for avoiding the limelight, far from the typical socialite or city slicker Lena frequently encountered. Despite never meeting him, Lena had sketched an image in her mind. Tall, lean, probably a bit too sarcastic for his own good, with glasses perpetually perched on his nose, hands shoved in the pockets of some or other vintage coat. Frankly, she wasn't thrilled. When Alex finally showed up, he didn't quite match her expectations. Sure, he was lean, but not particularly tall, nor dripping with cynicism. Glasses were absent, and his hands were more likely to be found handling his camera than lounging in his pockets. Surprisingly, Lena found herself warming up to him almost immediately. However, she couldn't quite pinpoint why. Alex didn't radiate the charisma Mark had always attributed to him. Instead, he seemed content to fade into the backdrop of their lively apartment, a quiet observer to Mark's enthusiastic hospitality. Alex's courtesy was impeccable, though he never sought to charm or impress. Once settled, he seemed happiest lounging on their balcony, a fresh coffee in hand, as he lost himself in the sprawling city views, remarking how this was the essence of living. He befriended their aloof cat with surprising ease, though showed little interest in Lena's suggestions of exploring the city or trying out photography in the urban jungle. Lena was intrigued yet baffled by Alex's placid nature, his contentment and simplicity. After a few days of failing to crack his calm exterior, her curiosity turned to frustration. She left Alex and Mark to their devices, retreating into her own world of work and the occasional night out with friends. But noticing that Alex hardly seemed bothered by her absence, Lena felt compelled to engage him more directly, joining him on his leisurely explorations of the neighborhood, attempting to peel away the layers of his reserved demeanor. "When's he leaving, your friend?" Lena asked Mark one evening as they both stood in their spacious, open-plan kitchen, prepping dinner together. "Honestly, he's starting to wear me out." "Not for another week, babe." "I don't get it. He's been super low maintenance," Mark replied, looking genuinely puzzled as he chopped vegetables. "But that's just it. I wish there was something more. Like if he needed something or had some preferences, it'd give me something to do. Plan for, you know." Lena sighed, half wishing Alex was a bit more demanding or at least more engaging. Mark stopped what he was doing and turned to Lena, his hands gently framing her face. They were in their element, cooking and chatting together, a routine that felt as comforting as it was intimate. "You always manage to surprise me," he said, with a soft chuckle, looking into her eyes, a mix of amusement and love in his gaze. "I can never predict how you're going to react to anything." He kissed her forehead lightly and turned back to the kitchen island to work on his part of the meal prep. "And here you are, taking Alex's quiet nature as some personal slight, making a big deal out of it when it's the last thing he'd want." "Big deal? Really, Mark? Do you even hear yourself? I thought you said he was supposed to be this brilliant guy." Lena couldn't hide her irritation. "He is smart, but the guy is just burnt out from work. That's the whole point of him staying here, to chill out for a bit," Mark explained, trying to soothe the tension. "You also mentioned he was supposed to be this great thinker, someone interesting to talk to. Honestly, I was expecting at least some stimulating conversation. Anyway, I'm heading downtown tomorrow to check out the new studio apartments. Might crash at my sister's place after. Just text me when Alex leaves, Lena declared, her mind made up. That night, Lena found herself alone on their balcony, wrapped in a soft blanket, staring out at the city lights. The evening air was cool, and the sounds of the city were a distant hum. She felt an unusual restlessness, her thoughts swirling with a mix of frustration and the inexplicable urge to just get away for a while. She couldn't make sense of her feelings, only that she needed a change of scenery, even if just for a day. Lena felt the quiet of the night wrap around her, and she sat alone on the rooftop garden of their building, the city's dim glow setting a moody backdrop. The sound of footsteps on the gravel pathway caught her attention, and soon a small red glow approached. Alex, enjoying a late-night vape, something Mark never did. She wished to stay hidden in the shadows, but her light summer dress betrayed her presence under the rooftop lights. Without any hesitation, Alex joined her on the bench, offering her a lightweight shawl Mark had asked him to bring up. "Mark thought you might need this," he said, handing it over with a gentle smile. Lena murmured her thanks, letting the shawl rest on her lap, feeling an odd mix of comfort and intrusion. Alex commented on the chilly night air and trailed off into a quote, his voice blending into the night. "Night of south winds, night of the large few stars, still nodding night." She didn't respond, sensing the quote wasn't really meant for her. Alex's usual reserve seemed to melt away in the darkness of the rooftop. He spoke with a soft, engaging drawl about his college days with Mark, their shared dreams, and the stark reality they now navigated. Lena found herself caught up not in his words, but in the sound of his voice, the quiet intimacy of the moment, a sudden, inexplicable urge to touch him, to close the distance between them, surged within her. She imagined leaning in, whispering anything just to feel that connection. Yet, the very intensity of this desire made her pull back, putting more space between them. The moment she could politely excuse herself, she did, leaving Alex alone under the starlit sky. As she walked back inside, Lena's mind raced with thoughts of confiding in Mark, sharing the tumultuous feelings that had gripped her. But she resisted, knowing some battles were meant to be faced alone. By morning, she was on her way downtown, needing the space to think, away from the confusing emotions stirred by Alex's visit. The idea of inviting Alex back was initially met with resistance, but as the year drew to a close, Lena found herself suggesting it. Mark was pleasantly surprised, interpreting it as a sign she'd warmed up to his friend. Looks like you finally come around. He really didn't deserve your cold shoulder," he said, his tone light. Lena laughed, genuine warmth in her voice as she reassured him. I've moved past all that. You'll see. This time, it'll be different. Jasmine sat alone on the school's rooftop, her favorite hideaway spot. The wind tousled her hair, and she clutched her diary, scribbling away the feelings she couldn't voice. Behind her, the door creaked open, and she quickly closed the diary. A tall figure emerged, blocking the sun's rays. Hey! Didn't think anyone else knew about this spot. The voice was unmistakably Ethan's, the senior everyone admired, with deep hazel eyes and a charming smile. Jasmine's heart raced. Hey, Ethan, just needed some space. He took a seat beside her. Yeah, me too. Mind if I join you? She shrugged, trying to act nonchalant. Sure, why not? Ethan hesitated, then spoke. You know, ever since the semester began, I felt different. It's like there's this constant buzz in my head, and I can't place it. Jasmine bit her lip. She had something similar. Is it, about someone? He looked into her eyes. Yes, it's confusing, thrilling, and terrifying all at once. Jasmine felt a connection, an unspoken understanding. Ethan, is it your first time feeling this way about someone? He sighed. Yeah, it's like I notice things I never did before. The way she laughs, the way her eyes light up, but I'm also scared, you know? What if she doesn't feel the same? She took a deep breath, her own feelings mirrored in his words. I think the beauty of first love is in its uncertainty, its rawness. It's a journey of discovery, not just about the other person, but about oneself. Ethan smiled weakly. You always have a way with words, Jasmine. It's one of the things, well, that caught my attention. She blinked in surprise. Wait, are you talking about… He nodded, looking a little sheepish. Yeah, it's you. I didn't know how to say it, and I didn't want to ruin our friendship. Jasmine felt a warmth spread through her, a mix of relief and elation. Ethan, I feel the same way. I've been writing about it, trying to understand it. It's new and it's overwhelming. They both laughed, the tension melting away. So, what now? Ethan asked. Jasmine grinned. How about we take it one day at a time? After all, we're in uncharted territory. He extended his hand. Together? She took it, feeling the electricity between them. Together. Once upon a time, in a land where the stars shone brighter than anywhere else in the world, there existed a hidden valley, known only to those who dared to dream beyond the ordinary. This valley was home to the whispering trees, ancient guardians of secret wisdom and enchanting tales. In a small, cozy cottage at the end of this mystical valley lived an old storyteller named Elian. He was no ordinary man. His stories had the power to transport listeners to worlds unknown, filled with adventure, mystery, and magic. Every night as the moon rose high and the stars twinkled in a symphony, people from distant lands would gather around the fire in front of Elian's cottage, eager to embark on a journey through his words. One such night, as a gentle breeze played with the embers of the fire, Elian began a tale that had never been told before. He spoke of a mysterious realm hidden within the folds of the night sky, a place called Lunaris. In Lunaris, the moon governed the ebb and flow of time, and the inhabitants lived in harmony with the celestial rhythms. The protagonist of his story was Lysandra, a brave and curious soul who had discovered a map hidden in an ancient book, which revealed the path to Lunaris. Unlike others, Lysandra didn't fear the unknown. She was driven by a deep desire to explore and understand the mysteries of the universe. With Elian's words painting vivid images in their minds, the listeners saw Lysandra embark on her perilous journey, navigating through the sea of shadows, a vast ocean where the water mirrored the starlit sky. making it impossible to distinguish between the sea and the heavens. After many trials and encounters with fantastical creatures, Lysandra reached Lunaris. There, she discovered a society where time flowed in reverse, where people grew younger with each passing day. The Lunarians, as they were known, taught her the secret of living in the present, embracing each moment as a unique and fleeting treasure. As Lysandra's adventure unfolded, Elian's audience was captivated, feeling as if they too were walking the streets of Lunaris, experiencing its wonders and learning its secrets. The story was not just a tale of adventure, but a reminder of the beauty of life's journey, the importance of curiosity, and the magic of living in the now. As the story reached its end, with Lysandra returning home wiser and with a heart full of memories, the listeners found themselves back in the valley, the fire now a soft glow. They realized that while the journey through the story had ended, the lessons and feelings it evoked would stay with them forever. Elian smiled knowingly, his eyes twinkling like the stars above. He had once again woven a tale that not only entertained, but also enlightened. The night was still young, and the whispering trees seemed to murmur in approval. And so, as the audience dispersed under the starry sky, each carrying a piece of Lunaris in their hearts, Elian whispered to the night, "Until the next story, my friends." In the land of the whispering trees, every story was an adventure, every night a journey, and every listener left with a little more wonder in their soul. And Elian, the master storyteller, continued to weave his tales, night after enchanting night, under the ever-watchful, ever-mysterious cosmic dance of the stars.